What is going on, guys? Spilly back again today in the year 2017. Wait, no, it's not 2017. It kind of feels like that because that's probably the last time I actually did a mouse review. I probably should have looked that up before I did this video. Um, yeah, well, here it is. We're back. I don't know if we're actually back, but I am going to start making probably a lot more YouTube videos. Doing a bunch of different stuff, anything from aiming stuff like you see on the screen. I get a lot of top 10, top 99th percentile Kovacs scores and a lot of stuff. Um, and I play a lot of Warzone right now. Maybe thinking about playing Valorant here and there. Yeah, so stick around if you want to do that. So drop a subscribe here. If you want to actually catch it live, you can head over to my Twitch on twitch.tv/SpillyFTW. But yeah, the reason I kind of came back, and before I actually even get into the mouse review itself, let's go to a different thing here. Before we even get into the mouse review itself, the reason that this mouse specifically brought me back to a place where I wanted to do reviews or review it is because, I mean, it's just so controversial right now. I mean, I have anything from the Orochi to, a Viper Mini. I can't get it in the scene. There you go. Placement's hard. And just a million other mice that I actually haven't ever reviewed on this channel. I never stopped really buying mice, I guess you'd say. I just kind of stopped reviewing them. But the reason that this one kind of brought me back is that it's just FinalMouse is so controversial. They're really. It seems like there's almost no in between of you either love them or you absolutely hate them. They're the worst company on the planet. They're ran by the devil himself. Um, that being said, you know, I've had good and bad experiences with FinalMouse. I don't even know if this person actually still works there, but I used to get review copies of different Final Mouses from somebody called Jude that used to like go on the OCN forums and stuff like that, and I would actually get sent out some different like review copies, which was really cool. And I had a lot of good luck with a lot of those. I liked my Sunset a lot. I played really well with it. I never had any QC issues, anything like that. Um, but I'm gonna be the first to tell you, I hate this drop culture that everything in the world is seemingly getting into. This like everything is so limited and you have to get it now. You have to get it now, and it's like okay, that's fine maybe for like some random one-off shoes or something like that. But a product like this that different people want to test, it's already $200 MSRP. I'm gonna tell you right now, I paid over $300 for this mouse. I tried to get on their site during the drop. I was literally there the second it dropped, and the site just crashed for me over and over again. I'm not on some crappy connection. I literally have a gig up and down, fiber, like whatever. It just wouldn't work for me. So that's really annoying considering like, not to sound like I just make so much money or something like that, but somebody that's not like me that doesn't have as disposable income isn't gonna drop $350 $400 on a mouse. Like that's 200 is a lot of money to spend on a mouse. So I really hate that. I hate that that is where they're going with it. I don't like that at all. Um, and I'd be dumb to ignore the QC issues that they've had, and I'll even kind of get into it with this mouse. It seems to have ironed itself out so far. I don't know why this thing keeps auto adjusting, probably because my hands are moving in the background. But but yeah, they've had QC issues in the past and currently do. People are getting QC issues with this one like crazy. Um, but I will give credit to FinalMouse where credit is due. They do push the bar forward, and that is something we desperately need in the mouse world. It is, there's not a whole ton of companies innovating right now. It kind of used to be Logitech, but Logitech has even kind of, almost sat on their laurels a little bit with, the G Pro Superlight and stuff is great, but, what even happened to that G303 wireless? Was that a hoax, or was that even a real thing? I mean, the pictures that we saw was like fully fleshed out packaging and everything. I mean, it just seemed like it was essentially ready to go, and we haven't heard anything about it since then. So, I definitely respect that they pushed the bar forward. No one else is making anything close to this right now. I mean, this is a 30. I need to get my scale somewhere around here. Whatever it is, 38 to 40 gram wireless mouse that is made of magnesium. There's not a single other mouse like it on the market. Unless we're talking getting into very heavily weight reduced, very modified, things like that, but you can't really count that. So, yeah, that's just kind of my take on the whole FinalMouse thing right now. Uh, but let's get into the actual, kind of review of it and why you guys are here, why you guys are wanting to see this, what I think of this mouse, what anybody thinks of this mouse. That's a big reviewer. I'm obviously not a big reviewer, but like Boardsy or like, Rocket Jump Ninja, those guys, that sort of thing. Um, I will tell you my honest truth about any mouse. I'm not paid, even if I got sent them by Final Mouse. I think you can go back and watch some of the Final Mouse reviews that I have that are cringy as hell. Actually, don't go back and watch them because that was a long time ago. But I would point out the flaws, even though that they were sent to me for free. So, um, yeah, let's get right into it. So, Final Mouse 12 Starlight. I really wanted the Hades edition because I think it looks the coolest, but the Zeus isn't bad. Um, Even though I probably could have just waited because like I said, I did buy this secondhand, and it was well over $300. But first things first, when I pick it up, this is really weird. I've never felt this in a mouse. It Sometimes when I pick it up, I think to myself, "Oh yeah, that's metal. That's magnesium. I feel that." And then sometimes I pick it up and it's like, "That's plastic. It feels like plastic." It's such a weird concept. Some people have asked, does it get cold, that sort of thing. I actually have felt it be like cooler than I would think it would normally would be, like any other normal mouse. But nothing, it doesn't really necessarily get cold. Uh, First thoughts when I pick it up is like, God, dang, this thing feels like some sort of cheap knockoff, like toy or something like that. Not that that was probably the wrong wording. It doesn't feel cheap. It's just so lightweight that you're just like, this. It doesn't feel like something that is significantly in your hand, if that makes any sense. It's like, I even had the HSK from G-Wolves, which is, the tiny M1K clone, essentially. And I think just because of the difference in shape, this, for whatever reason, just feels even more lightweight and different than that, which is crazy, but it just does. Um, yeah, all in all, I am impressed with this mouse just because of how far it has pushed things forward. Um, but it isn't without issue. It took me a day and a half to figure out why this thing was stuttering, and I still don't 100% know. The guy who had it before me used it for like a day or two, which I can pretty much confirm this thing is literally came in the mouse feet or had nothing on them or anything like that. Um, and he put core pads on these, which I think the core pads are a little bit thicker, if you can see here, a little bit thicker than the normal stock feet, and it was literally causing the mouse to stutter like crazy. We're talking maybe like a point something millimeter difference is causing that. That's crazy. So I have to believe that it could have issues depending on the mouse pad you're using, and a bunch of other factors, which is concerning considering, like I said, at the minimum you're paying $200 for this mouse, and at the maximum, like me, you're paying $400 or $500 for this mouse, which is a bit insane. Um, but yeah, I mean, my copy happens to be really good. I made sure to buy one that was already open because I didn't want one that had QC issues and stuff like that. I didn't mind getting one that was somebody had already opened, or anything like that. The buttons, let's see here. So a lot of people have talked about the buttons. As you can see, mine don't have really any of that gap in between it that some people have experienced. It's not really bad. Um, so the buttons feel pretty good. They're definitely a little bit heavier than what most people are gonna not. I mean, it almost kind of reminds me of like old school Zowie mice in a sense, but a little bit different. They're heavy because the shell is that magnesium, but at the same time they're light. It's a weird feeling. And Boardsy, I know, mentioned that there's like a break-in period he thought with it where they will become lighter and lighter. Um, which could happen. They don't bother me right now. I'll say that much. I mean, I still have put up, looking at my Kovacs scores right now, I've still put up top 99 percentile Kovacs scores with this mouse. So it's not like it's a bad mouse. It's not like the clicks are too heavy and I'm missing shots or anything like that. But yeah, the clicks aren't bad. You just have to make sure you get a good copy of them, because I've seen some dude had one. I think it was another reviewer. What's that guy's name? But literally a piece of magnesium fell out of the mount. The actual right click, I believe it was, and it was just like a huge gap in between it. And he said it clicked okay once he put some stuff down there, but it was like $200 mouse, $300 mouse is just like not something that should be happening. The shape overall is really good. I have fairly small hands. It's weird for somebody that played a college sport that I have baby hands, but I have about almost 18 millimeter hands. It's like a little under 18, 17.8 or something like that. So while I don't have absolutely tiny hands, they're pretty small for a grown ass adult. Oh, can I cuss on this? I probably whatever. But yeah, so even me, I feel like the grip width could be a little bit larger, a little bit wider because it does, as you can kind of see here, it does dip in the middle there. So I actually ordered some BTL grips for it to see if that kind of cures the issue. Another thing for me, and I actually made a Reddit post on this, and I might post this to Reddit, so maybe some people will see it from that, but I don't know if it's whatever coating FinalMouse uses. My Ultralight 2 makes me do this as well. Dude, this mouse, it makes my hands sweat, and it's like, I'm really trying to find a way to get around that, because it's literally like my Viper Mini that I use a lot doesn't make my hands sweat. And, a bunch of other stuff doesn't make my hand sweat. It's whatever reason, this mouse and the Ultralight 2 just make my hand sweat. I don't understand it. So there is that aspect to it. I also noticed, and it's just from the first time that I used it, that the way that I grip it, it felt, I'm trying to show a good way. I kind of grip it like this. It felt really awkward to like slide my fingers up to hit the mouse one on mouse two. I've gotten better about it, but I feel like they might be kind of awkwardly placed for some people. Once again, this is all preference. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it, that sort of thing. Stock mouse feet were good. I tried one with stock mouse feet. They felt just about as good as most feet. I actually have a pair of Tiger Ice coming on the way because that's my favorite mouse feet. It's all preference though. All in all, scroll wheel feels pretty good, fairly tactile. You can't really hear it, I doubt. Like, maybe you can hear that. Here's the clicks for you. Side buttons. And yeah, I mean, all in all, it's a really great mouse. It legitimately is. If you can get a copy that doesn't have the QC issues, that, is closer to MSRP, FinalMouse have really pushed the bar, and I respect that from them. But I really wish that they would lay off the Twitter stuff and the drop culture. It's just not me, dude. Maybe I'm like too boomer for this or something, but like, I don't like it. Not a fan. All in all, would I recommend this mouse to people? Yes, if you can get it close to MSRP, like $200, $250, assuming you have that to spend. I mean, dude, do not go make your parents, if you're a kid, try and get you this mouse for $300 or $400. You just don't. It's not worth that. I do not notice this. Let me put this back up here for you. This score on the screen, which I have not beaten with this mouse yet, so I'm in the top 99.5 percentile for this little playlist. I did with a Viper Mini right next to it. A $30 mouse that I added a paracord and some Tiger Ice to, so $65 total or something like that. All in all, would I recommend you to go out and buy this mouse? Like I said, if you can get close to MSRP, yes, I think it is a great mouse. I think once I adjust to it, if you can get one without QC issues, it will probably be my best mouse. But if you're looking at spending $300 or $400 for it, nah, not a shot. As always, guys, it has been Spilly. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed, go subscribe. I'm gonna do some more reviews. If you want to see me do some reviews of the other mice, I know this is kind of laid back style. I don't tell you a lot about the sensor and stuff like that. It's just not my style. You know, most people know. Most mice have perfect sensors these days, that sort of thing. Um, oh, I did forget to mention. They did say, I always don't know how to say this. Keel, whatever. They are putting Keel 8.0s in the next batch of mouse clicks for this, so I will be interested to see what that is like. Um, all in all, guys, like I said, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Head over to my Twitch, twitch.tv/SpillyFTW, and I'll see you later.